This should now work. Hello, you can hear me. Good. At last. I do apologize for that. There was a problem with the previous stream, but now hopefully you're all coming over to this one. I am super angry, and I feel like I need to give you an explanation of why. So earlier this week, I was feeling a bit frustrated about how some people online are so heavily pushing kind of the it has to be Tesla or nothing mindset. And it had got me to a point where I was really kind of starting to feel really frustrated and cross about covering Tesla at all, because the backlash that would come as a consequence was just ridiculous. But today I am super freaking proud of every single Tesla owner who has made me aware of something that is ridiculously stupid, ridiculously dangerous, and frankly should be removed from the internet. Full stop. I am just about to go outside. You can tell I've got my gardening gear on. I was going to go outside and I was watching on Twitter. I was just checking my Twitter before I left, and a video popped up in Sean Mitchell's YouTube stream, and he was saying that it was dangerous, and he was really angry and frustrated about this, and that it should be removed, and it's dangerous, and it gives all Tesla owners a bad name. I'm kind of paraphrasing what he said. So the idea was it was bad. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have to look at this. And I followed the link, and it went to a YouTube channel run by someone who calls himself Mr. Hub. Now, Mr. Hub is somebody who has a fairly small following online. He has, let's count it, he has 14 videos. From what I can tell, he is 18 years old, or maybe 19 now. I suspect he's 18 still. He's got 14 videos online, 13 of which are about Tesla, and one of which is about Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So that sets the stage a little bit here. He fancies himself as a little bit of a YouTuber, and his second video talks about how much Tesla charged him for a Model 3. Now, bear in mind, this is somebody who is 18, who claims that Tesla charged him $67,580 to have a Model 3. He's 18 going on 9. Oh, sorry, 18 going on 19, says Nigel. But I think my assessment was slightly better. 18 going on 9. And this person, I nearly called them a child, but that would be derogatory, and I'm not into that, has posted a few videos online. I'm going to read out the names of those videos. I caught a guy peeing with my Tesla cameras. Buying a Tesla at 18 while not being rich. Grandma's first reaction, Tesla's first reaction, part 2, Tesla grandma reaction, newest Tesla needed accessories, aunt's opinion on my Tesla, 18-year-old gets Tesla reactions, my mum drives my Tesla Model 3 for the first time. He then does a whole slew of videos doing the self-driving prank. One where he says Tesla driving while asleep prank, which was 2 months ago. Then no one's in the driver's seat, 2 months ago. Sleeping in my Tesla while driving, 2 months ago. And these videos have just started to get attention. So the sleeping in my Tesla Model 3 while driving video, it's 2 months old. It's been online a while. It's got 6,000 views. It's getting some traction now. And the frustrating thing here is that he and his mother got into a Tesla Model 3, went for a drive, put the car on autopilot, and climbed in the back to go to sleep. Now, I am pretty convinced at this point that this is nothing but an elaborate prank designed to get this person attention on YouTube. He is in the United States of America. He is obviously filming himself not being behind the wheel, not paying attention, and getting up from the driver's seat and going into the back. Now, when I first saw this video, when I followed Sean's frustrated tweet about the video and how it needed to be removed, I originally thought that, oh, this Tesla must belong to the mother, and then she's let her underage child go in the front seat and fall asleep, which in of itself is incredibly reckless. But no, it turns out that it's his car. His mother was in on it. She's riding in the car with him and filming him either literally falling asleep or pretending to fall asleep while driving down a highway at speed. It looks like they've managed to put something on the seat. But there are a couple of things here that don't kind of mesh up. It's, first of all, there are some safety measures in Tesla's Autopilot system that prevent people from getting out of the seat while driving. I'm pretty sure the car turns itself off. Now, I don't own a Tesla, as most of you know. But any car, I've driven plenty of Teslas in my time, all the way. I've driven every Tesla apart from the Model Y. And every time I've been in the car and Autopilot has been activated, if you let go of the steering wheel or you shift in your seat, you can actually trigger Autopilot cancellation. Now, right now, I think probably this was just a prank. It wasn't for very long, but it's still incredibly dangerous. It is still illegal. And I think the YouTube EV community, the Tesla community, the YouTube community as a whole need to actually call this person out and go, this is illegal. This was dangerous and reckless. You are endangering other people. It is not for the lols. Grow the F up and pay a consequence for your actions. Now, his mum was in the passenger seat. Yeah. And as someone says, it wouldn't be so bad if he was getting himself a Darwin Award. It's risking other people's lives, which is what makes it such a reckless move. Now, to the bit where I am telling you why I'm proud of the Tesla community. Okay, now the Tesla community and I have not always seen eye to eye. The majority of Tesla owners and drivers that I know are amazing people. They will do anything to forward the cause of cleaner, greener, safer, and smarter transportation. They are kind. They are courteous. They are generally really nice people. The ones I know, at least. Obviously, as Teslas become more popular and more of the wider population buy them and use them, we've started to see dickish behavior, irresponsible behavior that we would have traditionally maybe attributed to the BMW driver. And that's not meant to be derogatory, the stereotypical BMW driver or the stereotypical Mercedes-Benz driver. But what is most abhorrent about this video is that it takes one video like this. And it's one of the reasons why I'm not showing it. It takes one video like this to force NHTSA or one of the other safety authorities around the world to go, you have got to be kidding. We are not letting this happen. This is illegal. It is against the law. You are flouting the law as a driver if you do this, and as a car company, if you allow this to happen in your vehicles, well, you are culpable too. And I think a lawyer who was worth their salt would be able to argue that in a prosecution in court, both against this young man and his mother, but also against Tesla. That could be a really dangerous, stupid effing thing for the entire auto industry, because the data does show that semi-autonomous driver assistance technology can reduce accidents, it can improve fuel economy, and it can make the road a safer place. But just like that woman who allowed that prototype Volvo Uber to kill somebody because she was being negligent and not paying attention, so too will this have ramifications for the entire auto industry. Now, I have been criticized in the past because I have said self-driving is great, but we need a legal framework on which we can pin that technology so that car companies know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, so that drivers know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, and so that when people fudge the lines, when people break the rules, whether that is at an automaker's level or whether it is at an individual's level, then correct things happen. Part of the issue right now with Autopilot is that it is nebulous, at least from a legal standpoint, depending on which market you're in, depending on where you live, depending on what type of road you're driving on. In some markets, Autopilot is still not technically enabled, even as a beta. In other markets, it is available as a beta feature, and it's quite widespreadly available. I believe that the whole of this is going to backfire on Tesla and autonomous vehicles in general. Now I'm looking at this. Someone said, I thought Tesla disabled Autopilot on people who do this. I think generally Tesla does and should. And I think that this person is, as Rob says, he is a bell end, which if you are a Brit, you will know exactly what that means. It was a prank is not an excuse for illegal activity. Absolutely categorically correct. How about Tesla's promotional video for full self-driving showing the driver without hands on the wheel for the entire video? And that's another good question. And someone says he had his hands ready to grab it the whole video. Doesn't matter. He committed an illegal act and he needs to have his license revoked. Now, before we go any further, as I was explaining, I'm really proud of Tesla commentators, Tesla fans, Tesla owners for the most part being responsible about this kid and saying, no, this is not acceptable. This is illegal. This will impact us as a whole, as a community negatively, and reporting him to the relevant authorities, whether it's to YouTube, whether you report the video, which I've done, whether you reach out on Twitter, whether you try and get Elon Musk's attention with this. That is okay. What is not okay and what is never okay is harassment beyond that. Now, it's a very fine line, isn't it? When someone does something illegal, you want to make sure that they are brought to justice. And I've read some of the comments on this video. Some of them are pretty nasty. Some of them are very well reasoned and thought out. And of course, you also always should celebrate the reasoned, well thought out comments. When you have to resort to anger and shouting, it generally means that you've run out of words or you've run out of ways to address the situation in a grown-up manner. And I think the way that we need to address this as a community is to be grown up about it and say, no, this is not acceptable. You stop, and we go from there. Tesla fanboys are, in fact, some of the worst, as one of you says. They can be, but Tesla fanboys are rarely Tesla owners. And I am pleased to see so many well-known Tesla owners stand up against this behavior. Now, as a YouTuber, I take particular umbrage with this lad's behavior because we have to get cars to review. And very often car companies have, well, most recently, car companies have begun to stop working with certain YouTubers, or in fact with YouTubers in general, because they're worried that something stupid's going to happen when they have their car with a YouTuber, or in fact that the YouTuber is going to say something that's completely made up and not well thought out and reasoned. So I am very frustrated, and I think that I hope that Elon sees to it that this car is turned off, i.e., full self-driving is deactivated. Now, I'm trying to think about how I phrase this. I am a parent. I have an 18-year-old and I have a 17-year-old. And I fully understand the psyche of a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old. I used to be a teacher as well. So again, I fully understand that when you're 17 and 18, you do dumb, stupid things. But you shouldn't be doing dumb, stupid things with a car. And a family member of mine did something dumb and stupid with my car. They had to pay the consequences. They are still paying the consequences. Ergo, I think this lad needs to also find out what a bus pass is or a bicycle for a while and go from there. I'm gonna read some of the comments now and try and respond to this. Had a Model 3 for 2.5 years and the autopilot has improved by leaps and bounds from where it was then. Is it perfect? No. Is it ready for complete hands-off driving? Definitely no, says Michael Valicena? No, Valicea, I think. I apologize. I probably got it very wrong. And I believe that that you probably have that as a really good assessment of where full self-driving is. I believe that you are right in that. Remember, this is a video that I threw together in 5 minutes because I was frustrated about what was going on. Okay. If you want an update on the Bolt, I'll give you an update on the Bolt very briefly, and then I'm going to do some more stuff. All right, so a lot of you are joining from the beginning. Basically, an 18-year-old posted a video online in which he slept in his Tesla Model 3 while driving, and his mum was there as well. He also put it on TikTok. He has a his name is Jonathan. His name is Jonathan, and he has a Tesla referral link. So I'm guessing that this kid can probably be tracked down pretty easily by Elon and Tesla's team. But I think it is in Tesla's interest. You know, if Tesla is going to deactivate people like Rich from the program for rebuilding salvaged Teslas and getting them back on the road, then it also needs to have the same kind of attitude to people who are doing the same thing with their cars. You know, just because you bought the car from Tesla brand new and you did something illegal with it doesn't mean that you should be any less, you should be treated more leniently than someone who rebuilt the car and tried to put it back on the road. Let people do what people do and pay the consequences. We need to have stiffer penalties for being an idiot and putting others in danger without the need for more regulation, says Jay Freyers. The problem with that, though, if I can kind of hit your head on with that, is that regulations are what we build laws out of. It's very difficult to have laws without regulations. It's very difficult to have penalties without having a law to back that up or regulation to back that up. And what we have at the moment is kind of a Wild West when it comes to fully autonomous and semi-autonomous vehicles. And the auto industry knows it, and I think it's one of the reasons why the auto industry has been super cautious. And I think it's why things like the Super Cruise, where it makes sure that there's somebody there and that they've got eyes and that they are awake, is super important. Daimler's been doing something similar with its trucks. I hope that this incident pushes Tesla to activate that driver-facing camera in Model 3s and literally turns the car off or pulls the car over to the side of the road if something causes the driver to be not paying attention for more than about half a second. All it takes is half a second. And right now, full self-driving is not completely fault-free. I've been thinking a lot lately about self-driving videos, about Tesla Autopilot videos, and the majority of the videos that I've seen and watched online are from people based in California or other places where there's a lot of other Tesla owners and there's a lot of full self-driving beta test programming going on. In other words, parts of the world where Tesla already has a lot of data. And I'm sure those of you who have Teslas who live in less populated areas or areas where there are fewer Teslas on a regular basis would probably acknowledge that your car is less competent when driving those roads than when it's in an area where there is already a lot of data. This is not about free speech, my lad. This is about being a good human being, right? Regulation does not mean that you're stifling someone's God-given right to, liberty and whatever. This is kind of a concept that as a society, we try and look after each other. And that means also, in addition to making sure that we all agree to follow a set of rules, that we also make sure that we lay a framework out that is very clear about what is expected of people, things that are okay to do and things that are not okay to do. It's a bit like people saying, being really upset about certain politicians being removed from Twitter or YouTube and saying this is a First Amendment issue. It's not, because those companies are owned, they're privately owned. And when those companies are privately owned, it's the equivalent of someone coming into my living room and shouting at me and saying they've got a right to free speech. You say, no, actually, this is my house. When you're in my house, you have to play by my rules. On the public highway, we don't have that. We are in a public world. We are interacting with other people. And when you are on the public highway, you have to abide by the rules of the public road. You cannot say, oh, well, I'm just pranking someone, or I'm doing it for the lols, or I'm doing it for the YouTube hit. It is patently illegal. And there needs to be consequences for that. The reason why I want to see more semi-autonomous driving frameworks is because when you lay those frameworks out, it becomes very difficult for someone to wiggle around and say, I didn't know, it wasn't clear. Obviously, Tesla does that to some extent with its acknowledgement. When you turn the car on or you activate full self-driving, you have to agree initially that you're going to follow the rules. You're not just going to be reckless, which is exactly what this guy did. And for that, there needs to be a severe consequence. Now, I hope that Tesla says, I'm sorry, you're not the kind of customer we want. We've deactivated full self-driving. You're welcome. Why is the bar for full self-driving being set so incredibly beyond what humans are capable of? I agree it's not there yet, of course. Well, okay. So humans are very good at improvising, and they're very good at reacting in the kind of situations where maybe the computer systems are not. Computer systems are good at very good at repetitive stuff, 95% of the driving. But to be completely honest, the driving test in most countries other than the United States is actually, no, that's a little generic, because I've seen the Indian driving test. Many countries around the world have far more strict regulations about who can drive, when they can drive, what they can drive. Some countries have limits on engine power for cars or motorcycles. Some countries have limits on who can be in the car with a new driver, and also sometimes even what types of roads they can go on. So, for example, in the UK, if you are a learner driver, there are certain roads that you're not allowed to drive on until you've got your driving license. And then there is an expectation beyond that you will have certain restrictions behind the wheel. for the first so many months or years of your driving license. So what we might consider in North America to be we're holding self-driving at a higher standard than we are in other than we are humans, might be true. But in other parts of the world, the driving test is insanely difficult. It really is insanely difficult. If you are interested, we can go through the difference here between driving tests in, say, the UK and driving tests in North America. Someone was saying Tesla and Elon Musk is the reason that EVs are where we are. And a lot of people say that. A lot of people say, oh, you should be grateful. You should STFU, and you should not talk about people being idiots. Because, if it wasn't for Elon, you wouldn't be where you are today. Well, I beg to differ. I've been covering electric vehicles since 2006. So, yes, Tesla has expanded the EV world, and Tesla has dragged the mainstream auto industry kicking and screaming. I mean, we should give people who buy Teslas and then do stupid things with them a carte blanche to do stupid things with them. It is illegal, it is dangerous, and this person, Mr. Hub, should pay the consequences. If I was a lawmaker, I would be seeking to definitely ban him from driving, and I would probably be hitting him with a very heavy fine. Aside from the fact that this is an 18-year-old with a freaking nearly $70,000 car. Now, I'm sorry, I don't know 17 or 18-year-olds with $70,000 cars. This kid claimed he bought it himself and he saved up for it. All the power to him. He wanted a Model 3 and he got a Model 3. And he should be, if he worked that hard for it, good for him. But now it's time to be a grown-up and deal with the consequences of those actions. And there's a very dangerous precedent that we set in today's modern world about recording our actions and excusing them and saying, oh, it doesn't matter because it's for YouTube or it's online. It is ridiculous that we have that attitude. And frankly, if you're recorded doing something that you shouldn't be doing, people should call you out for it. People have called me out for it in the past as well, So there we go. All right, let's talk about driving tests and things like that. In the UK, when I took my driving test in the UK, you may not know this, I actually failed my driving test 3 or 4 times. On one occasion, I'd come up to a stop sign, and I was there was cars parked on both sides of the streets, and I was trying to move out to see down the road. The driving instructor thought I was going, and the examiner, and put his foot on the brake, because in the UK, driving school cars have dual controls. He put his foot on the brake, and that's an instant fail. I think on one other occasion, I missed a stop sign and treated it like a yield. And again, I was failed immediately for that. I couldn't see the stop sign because it had got tree branches in front of it, but that didn't matter. I should have paid more attention, and I paid the consequence for it. Motorcycle tests are the really interesting ones. In the UK, if you want to get a motorcycle test, you have to first take what's called CBT, compulsory basic training. You start with compulsory basic training, which is not even on the road. It's in a closed lot. They make sure that you can start and stop the vehicle, the motorbike or the moped, that you can control it safely, you can turn it, that you understand how the signals work, and you've got basic understanding of things like the lifesaver move, checking over your shoulder, being able to do that confidently. There's also a theory test that you have to take before you even do that training. So you do the theory test first, then you do the training. Once you've done that, they give you a piece of paper which allows you to drive under a certain size of engine, depending on what age you are. It's normally under 125. If you're younger, it's under 50 cc's. And you can ride that on L plates for a number of years. But if you want to go to a larger motorbike, you have to do a special course, which again consists of a theory test. Then it consists of a test in a special off-road area where they check that you can do emergency stops and things like that. And then they take you out on the road, and it's nearly an hour-long exam, if I remember correctly. You've got a radio communication with the instructor or the examiner. They are asking you to do things. They're riding behind you, and they are constantly monitoring you around the trip. And in fact, when I took my motorcycle test, which I passed first time, I was so nervous about riding that I kept taking the wrong turns. And the instructor said to me over the radio, "Okay, Nikki, I'd like you to pull over at the side of the road where it's safe to do so." So I pulled over, and he said, "I need you just calm down." He said, "You haven't failed, but you keep taking the wrong turns." He said, "There's nothing that you've done that would fail you right now. You've ridden really well. It's just that you keep missing. You know, you're taking the third instead of the fourth, or you're taking the second instead of the third." And so he just said, "Calm down. I know it's because you're nervous." And I rode the rest of the test, and then I passed. I had to take, the other thing in the UK driving test, which I didn't have to do, but younger people have to do, is you have to know things like how to fill the oil up, where the coolant is, and all of those other things under the bonnet, under the hood. And so when we talk about the standards that fully autonomous, semi-autonomous vehicles have to deal with compared to what you see exhibited in the United States for humans, then yes, I can definitely understand why people would accuse autonomous vehicles of being held to a higher standard than, say, humans, because some states, some driving tests are an absolute joke. When I moved to the United States, I literally drove around the block with the examiner and got my pass. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who's donating. I really appreciate it. I'm kind of riffing, so I'm not really paying attention to the monies coming in. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it. My motorcycle test when I moved to the United States was terrifying, because I already knew how to ride. I was able to book into something, a one-day course. I had to complete an online training program first, and this is in the state of Oregon. When I arrived at the test center, they said, "Oh, you're going to have to wear a DOT-approved helmet." And I went, "Well, I don't have a DOT-approved helmet, but this is my UK helmet, which is actually a higher crash test safety standard. I'm not on the road. We're not going on the road. I'd rather wear a helmet that I know fits me well and is exceeding the standards you require." They said yes. So I rode this course. I think I took it with about 10 other people. We were just, doing figures of eights and speed corners and things like that. I never exceeded, I don't think I ever exceeded 20 or 30 miles per hour. Most people didn't get out of second gear or first gear. About halfway through the day, when we were practicing, as we were coming up to the kind of the test at the end of the day, I was just getting bored. And so I'd do my little slalom, and then I'd get to the end. I'd hold the bike on the brake until the other person was getting towards the end of their test. And then I'd accelerate and go through the gears to get back to the start. And the examiners, I think, at that point realized she knows how to ride, because I was holding it on the clutch and the back brake and finessing it and not putting my feet down. When it actually came to the test, they sent us round. I know I did at least 2 things that day, which, had I done it in the UK, would have been an instant fail. I think I locked the back wheel up slightly at one point, and then I can't remember what else I did wrong. There was something else that I was worried about. But anyway, when it came to the slalom, we had to go through the slalom. The first time I tried it, I was too fast. They said, "You need to slow that down. You have to do the slalom between a certain speed." So I'm like, okay, let me have another go. I went through the slalom much slower, but kind of in my head, I'm like, okay, if they're making me go through the slalom slowly, I'm going to really show I know how to handle the bike. So I was pushing the bike down really hard as I went through the slalom. And as I went through one of the gates, my boot caught one of these little cones that they put that you're supposed to weave in and out of. And everybody watching was convinced that I had failed, because you're not supposed to hit the cones with your wheel. After the test, everybody comes and gets their results and goes home. I was the last person. I'm like, hey, can you give me some feedback? And they were like, well, actually, we wanted to talk to you. We want you to become an instructor. I'm like, well, they said, well, you rode perfectly. And I'm thinking, don't think I did. I asked about the cone and they went, well, you hit that with your foot, not with the bike, right? And I'm like, yeah. And they went, that was the requirement. You don't hit it with your bike. So I was absolutely gobsmacked about getting a motorcycle license so easily over here compared with what it is in other stuff. Talking about it here is giving him more views. Well, I've not actually given him any views because I've not linked to it. The Queen does not have a driving license. She's a very good driver. She doesn't have a driving license because everything in England is issued in her name, and so therefore that's the way that's the way it is. How many wheelies did I pop? None. She does drive off when she's on her own estate, but I don't think she does it in any other way. But there you go. I am really frustrated about this kid, and I am surprised. Shut up. It's all right. It was playing in the background. I am surprised that he hasn't had his video removed yet. I am disappointed that this kid thinks it's okay to do this kind of prank. If you wanted to do that video, okay, if someone went to a private airfield somewhere or a private road even and went, hey, I want to see how good Autopilot is, that's one thing because you're else around and you're only endangering yourself. But when you're endangering other people, that is very dangerous. That is very, very dangerous. When I lived in 1990, says QA Library, the driving test was in the parking lot. Is ridiculous. That is stupid. So what you think should happen to this lad? Like I say, I'm also astonished that his mother let him do it. As a mum, if my kids, I understand as a mum now, 17, 18-year-olds, if my kids do anything stupid, it's on them. My son is 18. If he does something stupid, my general reaction is, you're an adult, sweetheart. You know what you were doing. You should have thought about that. But at the same point, if my kids asked me to do something that was patently illegal with me in the car, I would have very, very strong words to say to them. I just hope that he loses his license. I really do. I have a bit of a bandwidth issue now. Well, I mean... I don't even know what you mean with that. But what I will say is that I think that I am blown away by how responsible the majority of the Tesla owners responding to this have been, which is, this is dangerous, stop it now, you're spoiling it for everybody. And they are. I want to see full self driving come along. So I want it to happen. Slap him with a large trout. That might be a waste of a good fish. I have problems with bandwidth. Yes. An 18-year-old Tesla owner did something very stupid, as a lot of 18-year-olds do. But my glasses are a bit heavy. I have red spots where they hit my nose. Well, I don't know if they're heavy. They probably just need a bit of adjustment. They're new. They are new. All right. Would you like a bit of an update on the Bolt? I should talk about the responsible Tesla channels. Well, Sean is a very, very responsible Tesla channel. He really is, and I'm so proud and happy that Sean is one of those people who took no gumph over this. It was dangerous and it was stupid, and I think his behavior is non-acceptable in any regard. So I'm glad that Sean was like, no, we shouldn't do that. All right, let's talk about the Bolt, because I'm not happy about the Bolt. For those who Have I missed why you're angry? A stupid kid driving a Tesla, getting into the back of the car and pretending to go to sleep. I don't think he actually went to sleep, but it's dangerous and stupid, and it needs to stop. So Sean Mitchell, yeah, Sean is great. I love Sean. I think he's done a great amount of good work in the Tesla community, and it's just really good to see that he's spearheading this. And having seen him rant about it was why I jumped on and went, this is effing stupid and needs to stop. All right. If you're an L driver, you're now allowed on UK motorways with an instructor. Shock horror! Wow, that would have been fun in my learning to drive days. All right, so apologies for the internet. For those who don't know, I live in rural Oregon. We have a really naff internet connection, and just after I started streaming, my 17-year-old got up, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is about right. She got up, and so now she's probably playing computer games and sapping up all of the internet. All right, Ben is good as well. Yeah, Ben Sullins. Yep. All right. Bolt. So for those who don't know, a couple of months ago, about a month and a half ago, I got a letter from the Oregon Department of Motor Vehicles saying in order to title my Chevrolet Bolt, I needed to fill out a form detailing how the car was rebuilt following its total loss. And it turns out that in May 2019, my car was temporarily borrowed by a family member who didn't have a driving license. They managed to ding it up a little bit, and the car was recovered, and so were they. And the car was taken to a dealer. They did a little bit of insurance work on it because the back end had got a little bit of a ding. And the insurance company paid out immediately for the repair to the repairer. I got the car back within about a week. It was all hunky-dory. August this year, we put out our lease agreement for my Bolt. So we transferred it from a lease to this. And in doing so, that prompted the DMV the car. Because obviously the lien holder. Because of COVID, they are running on a massive backlog. So they to dealing with my car, and they decided that because my insurance company back in May 2019 erroneously said that my car was a total loss when it wasn't, that I would have to go through this lengthy process of retitling it, and it would be called a salvage vehicle. So I spoke to the DMV. They told me what they thought was going on. I spoke to the insurance company, who originally said, no, nothing went wrong with this. We didn't do anything. Sorry, your car has not been written off. I don't know what the DMV are talking about. Then they got back to me and went, oh, yeah, sorry, we accidentally marked your vehicle as a total loss, even though it wasn't. Basically, someone clicked the wrong box when they were going through the paperwork, and that branded my vehicle as a total loss. Now, they sent me a letter, actually, which I have up here. So let me get it. It's kind of ridiculous. All right. Dear Ms. Gordon Bloomfield, the letter is to confirm that your 2017 Chevrolet Bolt VIN number is not a total loss. The U.S. Department of Justice administers a national database called the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System, and it requires that all insurance companies report the total loss of certain motor vehicles. The Progressive Group of insurance companies complies by reporting vehicles we determine to be a total loss. Unfortunately, we incorrectly reported your vehicle was a total loss. We're very sorry for this error. Please keep this letter as your title, with your title as proof for potential purchasers that the information provided by NMVTIS is inaccurate, and that as a date of this letter, Progressive has not identified the above mentioned vehicle as a total loss. That's all they've sent. It's basically a sorry we screwed up letter. And so therefore, we have to go through the process of trying to get it removed. And so technically my car, they've spoken to the DMV who said, yeah, your car is not a total loss. I am still going to tell them to buy my car. If they can't remove that branding, they're buying it. I'm sorry. That was... it's very ridiculous. Nobody has contacted me yet, but if it's a YouTuber lawyer, then let them know my way. That doesn't fix the issue. No, it doesn't. And if I sell the car, then the next person is going to have this problem. And right now, my bank might get upset because it's my bank I'm financing the car through, and they might turn around and go, sorry, you said your car had never been written off, and it has. So I think they should get it. They should take it back. Get an Niro. Honestly, if I had to get another car right now, I'd probably try and hold out and get one that could be a little bit more useful for doing huge amounts of crew transport. And no, it's probably not going to be a Tesla. Because we are hard on our cars. We live up in the country, and I don't know if you could hear that. That's our rooster. We live up in the country, so we need something that's really kind of much more suitable than that. You own a Tesla Model 3. I'm angry about a Tesla Model 3 owner who's about 3, who slept in his car, pretended to, and got out. What car would I buy now? Probably an ID4. I would probably would maybe consider an ID4. I might consider a Mark E. I would love a pickup. Honestly, I really want a pickup. I agree with what you are saying, Nikki. However, if you feel that it gives the mainstream Tesla haters ammunition if we escalate this and risk it being sensationalized and giving him exposure. One of the reasons why I'm making this video, and I haven't mentioned him by name, is because I want to try and expose him to you guys without going too far on it. All right. This is hopefully going to be my next car. I'm really excited about it. It's very different to my current car, and if we got this, we would probably want to get an electric pickup truck or maybe an electric minivan or van for the Transport Evolved stuff. But as most of you have realized, I am still struggling quite a lot at the moment with my health. And so as soon as COVID is over, I would very much like to try and get more people involved and more people editing videos and stuff. The majority of the videos that we edit, I edit myself. 10 is all me from start to finish. And Erin does the thumbnails and loads of other cool stuff behind the scenes. And people are talking about the names of full self-driving. I think it is partly down to Tesla that people are doing this. You know, you can't name a feature like that and not expect people who don't understand how Autopilot works in planes to understand how it works in cars. If you understand how Autopilot works in a plane, how Autopilot works in the car should not surprise you. But most people don't fly. Most people can't fly a plane or have the interest to know what's going on. So, you know, thank you very much, Grant. That's very kind of you. We are considering ID4, says Odjon. Yes, I need a tallish car because of my muscle disease. I don't know if that means you need to have it adapted, Objon, but if you do, I would love to hear from you because I want to try and do some videos on modified vehicles for people who are either mobility challenged or have wheelchairs so that they can do. Just checked the video we're talking about. He's alone in the car and he jumps on the back seat. Yeah, Absolutely. And it's not that this kid has obviously been doing it for a couple of months, and he's obviously been doing it because he wants the lols and he wants the exposure, and that's fine. But he needs to make videos that are appropriate and have the appropriate amount of content in them. I'm just really flipping pissed off about it. Yeah. Take breaks, avoid burnout, says Michael. Thank you very much. I am working very hard to avoid that. What pickup truck would I pick? Honestly, I'm really keen on hearing about this new Ford electric pickup. The F-150 electric sounds kind of fun. And I would love a Rivian. I'm not going to lie, but I would worry about Rivian. So, all right. If I have a car, it needs to be 100% reliable and it needs to be fixable 100% of the time. And I don't know enough about Rivian's dealer network to know if it would be reliable or not. The reason why I am supporting these guys, Aptera, is that I really like the fact that they have pledged to have an open attitude to repairs. So if something needs to be fixed on the car, they will send you a part. If you don't want to wait for them, they said, okay, we can send a part and you can either fit it yourself or you can get a local independent to fit it. And I think that is insane. That it's great. We need to support companies like that. Not the car company or the pillow company. Yeah, Jay, you say watching the video, yes, very stupid, but the best cure is to defund him directly or charge him directly, not the car company or the pillow company. I'm not saying that Tesla should face the consequences for this, by the way. I don't think I've said that at all in this video. I actually said I'm really freaking proud of how the Tesla community has responded to this kid, and I think Tesla needs to take action. So the first time around with Aptera, and there's a video coming on this, the first time the original founders, somebody from the original founders had brought some new people in who basically changed the original concept of the car and some of the other stuff. And we go from there. So that company went, when the original company went bust, I think, or they didn't go bust. They sold all of their assets. That's what I understand. They didn't go bust. I want to reiterate that. I think they sold everything to a Chinese company and closed down. Partly because the original design was for a 3-wheeler, and then the new management came in and they wanted to build a 4-wheeler, I think. The original Aptera founders are now behind the new company, and I've spoken to them, and we've got an interview which hopefully is coming out tomorrow. It's MLK Day tomorrow. I want to give everybody a day off. How does it work? You put $100 down and then what? Well, it's just like a pre-reservation for any other car. If they bring it to market, great. If they don't, if they fail, I've lost $100. And a lot of people have been asking for my referral code. I have a referral code, I guess. I'm sure someone could figure it out, but I'm not going to give you a referral code because I do not wish to be vested in a company that I report on. I do not wish to be financially vested in a company that I report on because I think it is a conflict of interests. If I say to you, oh, I've pre-ordered this car, I'm on the reservation list, I'm really excited, these are the reasons I did. Sorry, my connection dropped there. We really need to get Starlink. We really need Starlink. I know lots of people in the area who've got Starlink and we haven't yet. And I'm like, am I on Elon's blacklist? Is that a thing? Am I really on the blacklist? Because we really need the uplink. Anyway. So if I had this car, as I was saying before I disconnected, if I had this car and it was one that I said, hey, I've pre-ordered it, and by the way, here's a referral code. I believe Aptera is basically saying if you have a certain number of referrals, you'll get a free car, which sounds great. Who wouldn't want a free car? Well, I don't want a free car, because if I joined up with the Aptera referral program, I was like, hey, everybody, give me your, use my referral code and you'll get money off your car, and then maybe I'll get a free car. That's me selling to you. That's me persuading you that I need you to buy this particular vehicle because it's going to have a positive impact for me. And I don't want that. That is unethical. So for me, I've put a deposit down on this car. I really hope I get it. And if I do, I will report on it. But you need to make your decision based on your needs and your wants, not because some YouTuber is telling you to. So that is why I am personally not endorsing referral programs. I don't like them. I do not like them. I would much rather people look at my experiences based from money that I have spent, and then I feel better about it, and I think you would probably feel better about it too. I know a lot of you have said, well, I really want to support Transport Evolved. I really want to support you. You've done amazing things. If you want to support the channel, become a Patreon supporter. I know that's a horrible thing to say. We might also do it a different way. Stefan says, please restitute the referral to me. I don't know if I can do that. I want it because I want efficiency. I'd love to see how far I could go in an Aptera. So that looks like a pink snow leopard to me. So that must be my friend Kia. I would love you and I to do a long distance trip in that car. I think it would be hilarious. And I think we could maybe see if we could do 1,000 miles. That would be fun. This movement in media ethics is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Okay, let's come clean. We did do Raid Shadow Legends once, and I don't know what the controversy is because I haven't been online much this weekend. 100 kilowatt hour Aptera Cannonball run. I think I'd just do it as an efficiency run just to see how little energy I could use from one coast to the other. That would be fun. I'd totally be behind that. While we're on the subject, and I know people get upset when we do main things like this on the channel. This was years ago, by the way, Stephen, like years ago. It's because they sponsor everyone, no matter what. Go watch LTT. I missed that this week. So 1 in 3 Tesla owners, according to the AA in the UK last year, have been recovered from highways due to discharging. Interesting. Thank you for all of your kind words. If you want me to do a hack like this more often, please tell me, because I would love to do one of these once a week. A lot of people don't like them on the main channel. I might do this on Take Two at some point, but please let me know because I would really love to know. While we're on the subject of Aptera, the Aptera video is being produced slowly. So I don't know if I can actually even play you any of the audio from this. So a couple of weeks ago, I filmed a video with Aptera. It was fantastic. Oh. That's interesting. I wonder what happened. We're back. All right. So a couple of weeks ago, I filmed a video with Aptera, and they recorded their side of the interview. They had someone record their side of the interview, and I recorded my side of the interview. Now, normally, what happens is that the audio is recorded by me, but this.
The highest roof crush strength of any passenger car on the road, and it exceeds.
So this is the interview.
Safety standards by 4x, because composites are just strong.
And it sounds like Chris is in the phone. So what I've had to do is I've had to spend a week or so working on the audio for the different audio channels. And let's see if I can find a bit of audio here.
Beginning of this year. They've been amazing.
Can you hear the difference? So that's one of the things we're working on. It's taken longer to get that video together because I've had to edit the audio and make each person's voice sound normal, even though one of the audios is broken. So that is why it's taken so long. Obviously, also, I am spending 90% of my day feeling nauseous at the moment. And so I am running a lot slower than I was. And it's one of my biggest fears that Transport Evolved is going to suffer because my health is going to suffer. And one of the things I want to do this year is to be less in front of the camera and less on the computer and doing stuff like that, and focusing instead on just expanding Transport Evolved and getting people to work with us who share our vision, rather than, the standard Tesla YouTuber or the standard EV YouTuber who is very often more about entertainment than it is about the news. So, and that's totally okay. Both of these two industries, both of these two standpoints have to work together. So, but my health is more important than channel. And at the moment, yeah, it's touch and go. So I'm just about to nauseous 95% been reviewing all of Trump's interviews. No. So I have a condition called long QT. I talk about it way too much. It's basically an electrical problem with the heart, which I find is really funny because obviously electric cars. But what it means is that my heart doesn't repolarize properly. And in its extreme form, it can lead to sudden cardiac death. I've had it ever since I was little. And as I've got older, it's got more pronounced. It is most pronounced when I work out. If my heart rate goes too high when I'm working out, especially at the end of my workout, my heart doesn't slow. It doesn't adapt back to resting heart rate so well, and it can cause my heart chambers to be in the wrong order. So I am on beta blockers, which slow down my body's reaction to adrenaline, which means that my heart doesn't beat as fast as it did. So instead, I used to work out and my heart rate used to go up to 180, 190, 200, 210 beats per minute. Now it goes up to 130 and kind of stops there. The downside of that is that my heart's not pumping as hard, which means that I'm more lightheaded and more nauseous than I normally would be. It's one of the reasons why I haven't done any motorcycle stuff for a while. And go from there. Ask my partner to do. Which partner is that? My partner hates being on camera. She really, really, really hates being on camera. I don't think you mean my partner. I think you mean the other Kate. There are two Kates, one of whom is the person I'm married to. She is an American. We call her Americate. She is currently in the workshop working on some wood. She makes a lot of things out of wood. And then the other Kate is my dear friend, Kate Walton Elliott, who I've known since we were in our 20s. She lives up in Olympia, so she lives about 100 miles north of me. and she has the Morris Minor that she's converting to electric. And I would love to give Kate a full-time job. In fact, that would make my life a lot easier. But unfortunately, we don't have quite enough monies to do that yet. So what about the Insight project? The Insight project is continuing. It's going to happen. We've got a controller board on the way. After that, I'm going to try and buy an inverter for that, so we can get the motor running. And then I need to get a battery pack to put in it. And we're taking our time rather than rushing. So there we go. I have a question. Do you think the Bolt EV is good for a newly licensed driver? It depends how old the driver is. I wouldn't give a newly licensed driver a 200 brake horsepower car, would you? In fact, I know what happens when someone who isn't yet licensed gets behind the wheel of a 200 brake horsepower without their parent. I don't need more lithium in my diet. I need more potassium. Erin is going to do some more stuff too. But I think one of the challenges that people don't realize is how much work goes behind a YouTube channel. And now I've had the rant. Maybe we'll bring this to a close. But not work out, go walking. Well, I was just about to go out into the garden, so I'm going to do that. Maybe eat lithium iron phosphate. That would be funny, wouldn't it? All right. So love your dungarees, but you need to stop and get out in the garden. I do. I need to go and do some gardening. I've got some stuff to do. I've got some chickens to deal. If you follow me on Twitter, I just made a little, it's called a saddle, a saddle apron for my chicken, Marie, who had no feathers on her back because our rooster is a little bit rapey with her, and basically has pulled out all of her back feathers. And so I made her this little thing. I'll put it up on my Twitter account later. My Twitter account is @AMinorJourney on Twitter. That's basically where you find me most of the time. We should raise the age of getting a license. Not necessarily, because I think in some places people do need to drive. Ask Tesla for assistance. Electric car, electric heart. I could be the first Iron Woman. I'm sure there was an Iron Woman in some of the Marvel universe. Sounds like something from WandaVision, honestly. I don't have any dinosaur arms, but I might do. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, if you want me to do this kind of hangout more often, please let me know.
I think you're pretty great too.
My watch has just basically listened to about the last 2 minutes worth of rambling. All right. All right, so if you want me to do this every week, maybe we can try and figure out how to do that on the channel. Maybe we can do it on any other way. The Iron Woman suit was built by Tony Stark, and the suit was hidden from her until his death. Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. Get out in the garden, and we'd love to see more live chat. Absolutely, we'll do that. So there's good things coming. Let me just reiterate, I am so proud of the Tesla owning community for telling this kid they got it wrong, because so many people have posted videos online that have been questionable over the years, and I've always said that's not a good thing, and now this person has stepped over the line. So that's how I feel, and we go from there. Anyway, have a good one. Uwu. Let's focus on taking breaks. Uwu. I like that comment. Anyway, keep evolving.